Hey everyone, this is Light, and welcome to my tier list video on the upcoming custom Mystic banner. Keep in mind that this is primarily for RTA, however, if a unit has significance in other content, it will be noted. So yeah, let's get into it. So top tier, we have must-have core units. These are the best ML5s in the game, and they are essential for their playstyle. So first we have Conquer Lilias. She is one of the best aggro enablers in the game alongside ML Poly, who is unfortunately not available. And her draft right now is very solid. Usually you pick her with an anchor like ML Haste and Senya, and then you put Candy on 3, and then it's like a protected Candy draft, and it's very strong. Definitely one of the strongest drafts in the game right now. And she's also decent in PvE, namely Ancient Inheritance, so that's something. But yeah, top tier aggro enabler, and for the same reason, Landy is extremely strong right now. Protect the Candy on 3. She is by far the best hyper carry in the game. Nothing really matches her damage output, and yeah, she's really good with Sea Lilius. And next we have Abyssal Euphine. She's fallen off a little bit with all the debuffs and defense breaks in the meta right now, but she is still very strong for slow players. She's still probably the second best bruiser in the game. But yeah, really good to have, important for slow players. She stops people from picking stuff like Architect Leica and things like Emo Roana, who are huge menaces. So like, yeah, she's really important for slower players. And then we have a Taiwan, probably the best knight in the game overall. His build variety is huge. Like he could be slow protection set, or he could be fast with a bunch of effectiveness to just defense break and stun you off the bat. And his passive cleanse makes him a natural counter to knockball, which is very good. So yeah, definitely the most menacing knight in the meta right now. Emerald Haste. Emerald Haste is definitely one of the best aggro cleave anchors, and he's really good in standard too, honestly. He's just like the best anchor. Like he does tons of damage, he heals a lot, he forces you to hit him, and if you don't, he's gonna kill you. He does a lot of damage. So yeah, absolutely game warping unit, very strong. Death Dealer Ray, he is DDR. His debuffs are insane. He does tons of damage to tank teams. He makes his team do tons of damage. And with Guardian Ice Crystal, he has decent healing too. Absolutely insane unit. So yeah. And also he's one of the only decent picks against Saya. Emma Ludwig, if you are a cleaver, you should have this guy. Abusing Souls is still very strong. Like Ran, Zio, Ludwig, Shenanigans, Politis, like he is essential if you want to cleave and abuse souls. For the same reason, Zio is also essential for cleavers. However, you don't need to ban Bellion if you're playing Zio, because like a lot of cleavers will go like Zio Ran, and then they'll go like Jacko and other things that aren't soul related. But basically, if you play Ludwig, you're probably playing him with Zio because it's a book. You play Ludwig with Zio, Politis, Luna, and all that. Ran. So yeah, these two pretty much top tier for the same reason. They enable very powerful cleaves. So yeah, C Armin. We're including MO4s in this tier list because they are also selectable, and C Armin, hands down best mitigation in the game. 15% mitigation for everything that includes white damage, and there's a lot of white damage in the game. And by white damage, I mean stuff like true damage, like ML Haste, like in skills that don't crit. So yeah, CRN very, very good. So she has the 15 reduction, she has Aureus, and then you can put her on protection set, and that is the most mitigation you will get. Aside from Albedo, but Albedo is only crit damage reduction. So yeah, that is it for the must-have core units. So next we have the really good units. These are units that when you pick them in the right place, they'll be really, really strong. They have a specific role, and they are really good at their role, basically. So Emoshu, by far the best injury unit in the game. However, her only drawback is that she's only good against slower teams. She doesn't help you at all against anyone being aggressive or trying to cleave you. So yeah, she has that huge weakness, but she is the best injury unit against lower teams for sure. Bryceria is Bryceria. She has strip, she has defense break, she has unbuffable, she's anti-revive. She can be a cleave opener. She's stealthed. She's just good. She's just good in a lot of different situations. And yeah. So Mo Sharon, one of the only counters to DDR, though that automatically makes her very valuable. But besides from that, her S3 is really, really strong. It's a tempo swing, it pushes them back. It defense breaks them, and it pushes herself up. And like she can also enable Spez with her stun and everything. And Spez is actually pretty decent in the meta. So yeah, pretty good unit. Really flexible. You can play her in like slow play, or you can be aggressive and like capitalize on her defense break. She can also heal because she can hold Guardian Ice Crystal, which is the best healing artifact in the game. And Meat Eater, hand guy is hand guy. He is the best cleanser as long as skill reset is not involved. So not Knockwall, not Lua, but any other debuffer, he is the go-to cleanser. Emo Bologna, she's really good into Landy, probably the best Landy counter in the game, and that's enough to be in the really good tier. She's also really good in Guild War and Arena, cause like she beats up Senya, she beats up Shu, she beats up all those anti-crit stuff. So yeah, pretty decent unit overall if you're looking for that kind of unit to counter anti-crit and candy and all that. Yeah, Sage Vivian. So with her buff, I actually think she's a very strong unit. A lot of people, even in like the legend ladder, they like to pick up to 4 debuffers every game, and Sage Vivian is just best in slot. I know a lot of people will meme her and be like, well, Sage Vivian is useless because her S3 can get reset. Well, you can actually circumvent this by going book, and then you can slow burn your S1 no matter what. So you have AoE value no matter what. So yeah, I think being this anti-debuff DPS gives her a huge value. And yeah, she's actually much more pickable than you'd expect. So yeah, easy, really good tier. And honestly, the game is really lacking DPS that are immune to debuffs, to be honest. um, Spez is really good for breaking through tanky teams. His only drawback is his stuns getting 15%ed, but 85% chance to win is pretty decent. So with band protection, Spez actually got way stronger because you can put his stunner in slot 3, or you put him in slot 3 and pick 2 stunners. And then you won't ever have to worry about your combo getting banned. So yeah, for that reason, he is much better than last season. And yeah, His only counter naturally is Candy, but it's not rare to pick Spez and Candy together. So yeah, really decent unit. He's good against Laia and Yuffie in particular. Like Laia, Yuffie, and Ciarman, he's really good against that draft in particular. As long as you have Arrowwell or Sharon to stun. So next we have Architect Leica, and I'm gonna just group her with strays because these are pretty much the same units. If your opponent picks really tinky, slow units, you just slam these, and then you can kill them. As long as they pick units that don't have like absurd HP, like Leica can pretty much kill anything that's less than 25k HP. So if they're not speed contesting, they're going really slow, just slam Leica or strays, and yeah, they'll kind of just die. Yeah, so yeah, pretty much the same unit. So next we have RB. RB is actually surprisingly strong with his EE. His damage output is insane with basket. The ideal RB scenario is taking one turn to S3 and then dying and then S3ing again. And that is a whole lot of damage that a lot of drafts will not be able to survive unless they have like Albedo or Ciarman. So yeah, as like a late pick DPS, he is pretty insane. And also his evasion makes it so that he might not immediately die after his second S3 and he'll probably get another turn. So yeah, very very menacing unit, but you have to use basket, and if your basket doesn't proc at its like 15% chance, it kind of sucks. But that's very very rare. So yeah, overall, very very menacing damage dealer. Can absolutely run teams over if they don't have good anchors and protection. Yeah, very very strong. Emma Rowana, she's best friends with like Peyra, Ran, Nakwal, Lua. Like all these units kind of like ignore her CR cut counters, and her skill reset and pushback are very very strong. Cause like it just leaves you helpless getting reset. So yeah, very very strong partner for the very broken openers. Pretty much one of the best cleave units in the game, or aggro, whatever you like. So yeah, if you're looking for a bridge and a unit to go after your opener, she's really really strong. Moon Bunny is one of the only counters to DDR and Knockwall. She's pretty decent. However, she does have a weakness of getting overloaded by extra turn units, but overall she's still really good. Yeah, it prevents DDR S3, it prevents Knockwall S3. So yeah, she buys you a lot of time to do whatever to win. Yeah, decent unit. However, she does have her weaknesses. Namely that she doesn't provide that much. Like she has a cleanse, she has a bit of a healing and shield, and she can sleep, but she doesn't provide that much. Is her only issue. AOL, pretty much the same as always. If you need an unbuffable, she's the go-to. Unbuffable is really strong against haste. Yeah, pretty decent, but nothing crazy like in the past. But she's still really good. Like Hades, she's honestly one of the better cleansers in the game. I say she's better than Destina just because of her CR boosting. Like she's decent. Her cycling's really good with her passive. Yeah, she's decent. However, she is really weak to getting reset. And if you happen to run into weirdos with like 250 effective Snockwalls, you're gonna have a bad time. But overall, in terms of like being a cleanser, she's okay. But she's also really good in the new Holo Trials, because you build her slow, and then And then during the break phase, you just cycle her skills so she doesn't hit the boss. So yeah, she has some really good PvE use right now, and same thing for Oxlot. He is here purely for Hollow Trials, which is actually pretty important to do. Like the MO5 EEs are kind of big. Like you want to be able to score well in Hollow Trials. So yeah, Oxlots, if you don't have one, you should really get him. However, you do need Spirit's Breath to make the most out of him. But yeah, so yeah, just for Hollow Trials, he's really, really good. Solitaria. Solitaria will always be the go-to counter to focus units. That has never changed, and she's also one of the best debuffers in the game. Because a lot of cleansers can't keep up with her consistent debuffs. So yeah, Solitaria is Solitaria. Really good, really good. Hasn't changed at all. And then we have the nice to have tier. If you already have all the really good units and you're like you're not sure what to pick, well, you can choose from any of these. They're all typically as strong as each other, kind of. LRK is actually decent into a Tywin, but he's also really weak to debuffs. So in an ideal situation, he's really good into a Tywin. However, he can also just get controlled to death. Yeah, he's nice to have, but not that good, I guess. He's more like an unreliable counter to a Tywin, if anything. He's good against AoE, but that's usually not much of an issue these days. So he's okay. He's okay. A Ravi, if you need a really tanky unit that can also injure, she's there. If you need an injury unit but you're scared of getting cleaved, so let's say you want to pick Shu, but you're scared of dying, so you pick a Ravi instead. That's a thing. So yeah, she's like a safer Shu, but much weaker, of course, because like she doesn't have speed buff and all that, and her injury is much lower. But she is safer. Rylet, he got buffed, but it's the same unit, to be honest. Like, sure, his evasion doesn't get stripped, but if you get hit, you're dead. Rylet is Rylet. In the games where he's good, he'll win most of the time, but then sometimes he'll just die. So yeah, he's still the same unit. Pirate Flan. She's one of the easiest units to build with high effectiveness. Like, you can easily reach close to 300 with her, and you'll be able to deal with everyone and anyone that stacks ER. So yeah, that's pretty good. However, her effectiveness is tied to the Caesarea artifact, and if you don't have a maxed one or you get 15%ed, it's a little rough. So yeah, she's pretty good at dealing with ER cheesers. Not much outside of that. There are some fast pirate flan cheesers that kind of like try to control you to death, but they're kind of whatever. But she's mostly used to deal with high ER players. Spectre Tenebria, she's okay. She's still a really strong. She's a really strong DPS into teams that happen to have all single target, but that's about it. Top model Luluka. If you happen to have like a nice like 290 to 300 speed pen set DPS set, she's pretty decent. If there's no mitigation, she can one tap units like she can one tap like squishy Soul Weaver units, I guess. Like, she can one tap Bunny Dom if there's no mitigation. But that's about it. You can use her in cleave sometimes. She'll kill RB. she holds book for Ludwig, but that's about it. Nothing too special. Emerald Ara, she's usable. If you play Ran or Peyra, she is a decent bridge for them. But that's about it. Emerald Ball. It's honestly really hard to use Emerald Ball these days. Cause like almost every cleaver is slamming Fire Politis. And yeah, Emerald Ball just can't cut. But well, against some cleavers, he's like auto win. So yeah, he has some use, but he's not as good as he used to be. Just because of the nature of like a lot of cleaves these days. Like he's gonna get screwed by Fire Poly passive. He's gonna get screwed by Rand Stigma. He's kind of whatever. Still usable, but nothing crazy. Dilly Vet. she's anti-debuff. However, she's extremely weak to reset. Sometimes she'll be good, very rarely, but she hasn't used against people who pick tons of debuffers and don't happen to pick a reset, which is very rare, but it's a thing. Politica, she's a really strong cleave unit. However, she relies on completely gear gapping the other person. Cause like her kit is very strong, but she's balanced because her base speed is awful. But if you happen to Luxac speed gear to the point where you can like reliably outspeed like C. Lilius and Emerald Polly, sure, she's pretty good. But otherwise, not too much use, to be honest. Archdemon, she's okay. You can build her. There's actually a newer build. You can build her like 250 speed with book and just soul burn spam seals, which is actually pretty decent against a lot of the meta units. But besides that, she doesn't have much use. And she's okay. She's okay, but definitely not anything essential or important. Elena, you can use her in some cleaves. Like if someone picked a whole bunch of counterattack units, you can just slam her. Yeah, she'll be pretty good with like Zeo and Ludwig. That's about it. She's actually decent in arena too. Like probably essential for Rand Cleave in arena. And in Guild War, but that's about it. LQC. So the slow LQC build is pretty much non-existent because like it's way too easy to control her. But a faster full damage LQC is not bad. If you have a spare Tachi, you can probably build her like 250 speed, and like if someone doesn't have mitigation, she can actually one-shot stuff like ML Haste. But it'll be very rare for someone to not have mitigation and you manage to get first turn with her. So yeah, she's sometimes usable, but very rare. Maid Chloe, she's not the best. Her biggest downside is that she only cleanses 2 debuffs. ER is not a very good stat unless you can build an absurd amount of it. And in this day and age, you can't afford to put much ER on your DPS. So for that reason, I don't think Maid Chloe is very good right now. However, she is really good to auto battle arena with, if you're interested in that. However, she can be replaced by Hand Guy for that. But yeah, she's just not great right now. Because ER is either broken or useless, and most of the time it's useless. Bellion, She's okay. So sometimes people will try to abuse souls without banning Bellion, and then you just slam Bellion and it's a force ban. She's okay. There's a funny 3F counter build going around with DDR and stuff, but it's kind of whatever. She's okay, nice to have for sure, but not essential or anything. Um, Shooting Star Keys. Okay, she's only here. She's only here to do Euphine Lab, which is really important. If you don't know, it's a thing where you have like an invincible green Euphine, and you just clear all of a labyrinth in one ticket, so you get like 1,000 currency or more with like one ticket. So yeah, that's nice. Extra charms is always nice. Guider Aether. He's only here because of Holo Trials. He was absolutely the best DPS, and it seems like the Holo Trials will roughly have the same theme. So I expect him to be a regular DPS that just gets like swapped out like every other whatever. Yeah, really good PvE DPS. Although not sure when the next time he'll be used. I think he's getting swapped for another one this rotation, but I'm not sure. But he's nice to have. Definitely nice to have. General Fergus. He's good against certain cleaves, namely Fleduca cleave. And he's good in Wyvern 13. Like the G Fergus Wyvern 13 team is like slightly over a minute long. Like it's like he has uses, but nothing too crazy. LPK. If you happen to be able to gear an OPK like 300 speed and can also one-shot knockwall, she's pretty good, but otherwise not really. Not really. The gear requirement is insane, just like Luluka. If you can do that, she's pretty good, but otherwise she's kind of whatever. Like she's anti-evasion, but at that point just need shout here. Dark Corvus, he's really good in Guild War and Arena, but in RTA his uses are kind of very inconsistent. Like half the time when you pick Dark Corvus into something like Candy or Yuffie, you just kind of die before you can kill them. Lionheart, Lionheart had a huge fall from grace recently. Like the past few months, like Elvira killed her, Emil Polly killed her. She sucks against Yuffie and Candy unless you try to set her up with defense break. But yeah, it takes way too much for this unit to be good. Like she's just not she's just really not worth it. Like she's really weak to Sea Armin, she's really weak to Albedo. She's just not she's just not reliable right now. And then we have nothing else to pick here. Closer is a fun unit, but I can't say he's any good at all, to be honest. Like sometimes you can just run people over with him, but you also have to be very fast, and that's kind of not practical. Yeah, so not the best unit. Commander Pavel, he's okay cleaving Arena and Guild War, but you can never use him anymore in RTA because like Emma Polly counters him, Elvira counters him. Like it's kind of sad. But yeah, still decent in Arena. DJ Bazaar, he's a cleanser, but that's about it. He doesn't do anything really important right now. Like his kit is extremely lackluster. Yeah, I won't even bother with him. Emo Ken, he's I want to say he was good in Guild War, but there are so many Guild War cheesers who just don't build crit on their units, and then he's not even good for Guild War anymore, really. Unless under like very specific situations. Yeah, and in RTA, he just really doesn't work. Like Emil Haste and Senya, like all the anchors, just stop him from killing the units like he would normally kill, and like Albedo and C Armin just give everything too much mitigation. And he's so weak to debuffers, he's just not good in RTA right now. FCC FCC got completely power crept by protection set. She has no purpose. Josh Kisei, really no purpose besides like a for fun unit. Kairon, just a for fun unit. You can like meme around with like an invincible Kairon in arena, but really it's just for fun. Spirit Isoline, she has so many weaknesses. Like sometimes very rarely she'll get banned if you pick her, but not that great. Not that great. And she's okay in Guild War, but again, same issue as ML Like, what if they don't crit? Ruel, being a single target cleanser is just sad. I don't think she'll ever be good, just because she can only single target. Operator Cigarette. Honestly, you have to rely on them having protection set, but they usually don't when you want them to. So it's silly. Yeah, I don't know. She needs attack buff to be in kill range too. Like she's just unreliable, and you need like insane gear on her. Yeah, she's just completely unreliable. But yeah, that's about it for nothing else. For that tier. So yeah, and then of course we have the can't choose. So yeah, thank you for watching. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments, and see you next time.